Sorry.
Hope everyone had a great week and some great news and good things are happening in people's life. I know everybody's happy to be back because I am very happy to be back. Although we were working during the time we were out, but it doesn't mean we miss seeing you guys in your faces and hearing all your great success stories and all the wins that you have. So we're going to do what we always do on Friday night. We're going to do our declaration. So if you guys can just unmute yourselves and then just repeat after me so that we can get this Friday night call going. I would greatly appreciate it. So y'all ready? If y'all ready, let me hear you say, I am ready.
I am
ready.
That was weak. Can we
ready.
do that again?
I am ready.
I am ready.
Oh, I need a little bit more energy. Like I am ready. But it's okay.
I am ready.
There you go, Michelle. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. All right, let's go. This is my life.
This is my life.
I declare today my mindset has changed.
I declare today my mindset has changed.
I am clear about my path.
I am clear about my path.
I am debt free.
I am debt free.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
All right, go ahead. That must be Raquel. I control my spending habits.
I
control my spending habits.
I am not a consumer.
I am not a consumer.
I am an investor.
I am an investor.
My money works for me.
My money works for me.
All things are possible to me because I believe.
All things are possible to me because I believe.
I live in abundance.
I live in abundance.
I am financially sexy.
I
am financially sexy.
And I won't give up.
And
I won't give up.
Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. And when we say that declaration, that is something that we're supposed to say from the depths of our soul because we mean it. And we want this thing to take root in us so it'll truly have a great effect on our lives, right? And if you are in agreement with that, and if you believe in that, just put in the chat like, I agree, or I'm with it. Or if you're not, just say, no, I'm not. I just want to see what people feeling tonight. I agree. There we go. Yes, I agree also. Yes, thank you. Everybody's agreeing. Let's say, yes, can we get them off? Agree. Awesome, guys.
I have it.
Thank you. And thank you guys for engaging in that with me. I appreciate your input and your engagement, but I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to turn this back over to our host tonight. We got another one. I agree. Mr. Sabur DeMary. Most of you know him already, so we're not going to do an introduction unless you want me to do an introduction. Sabur?
No, everybody has been members already, so we good tonight.
Okay, so we're not doing any introduction. So, guys, here he is, our mentor and the man of the hour, Mr. Sabur DeMary.
Okay, that's way. It's way over.
No, it's not.
Yes. So last night I did a meeting on note investing and how to get started with real estate note investing. And two things that popped up. I had one person that came back and tried to say that I sounded kind of not racist, but I sounded kind of unprofessional, because one of the things I said in that meeting was that what I realized is during my journey, most of the African Americans or minorities that come to me about mortgage notes want to learn how to broker notes, because they don't have the money to buy notes. And I don't know what that is behind me. I'm going to turn my TV off. So they said that most people, I was trying to say that most of the and I'm not, again, not trying to sound racist, but most of the Caucasians that come to me, they come to me to buy notes because they have the funds. Most of the Black people that come to me, or minorities that come to me, they come to me because they do not have the funds and they want to learn how to broker notes so they can get the funds to buy mortgage notes. But it never really ever happens because being a mortgage note broker is a full-time job. Once you put that money into marketing, once you finally close a deal and get paid, now you have to pay yourself back, and the rest of that money goes to your household. So you never really invest. So I wasn't trying to sound racist. I was just trying to say that the people that have money already have money, and we could continually trying to catch up. That's why it's so important that we start off with velocity banking to build our credit profile so that we can actually start leveraging our credit to get where we need to go. We already have our partners. We just didn't know how to do that. So again, I didn't mean to sound racist. I wasn't trying to sound racist. I was trying to make a point that even though we have come a long way, we are still 3 generations behind financially. You know, you got to think, if you see me making $1 million, they're making 4 million. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't trying, I was saying that there is a generational stereotype, not even stereotype, there's a generational thing that's going on that we have to break down. And even though us as, you know, minorities are doing well, there are still people that's not doing well. And there's other people that's 3 paychecks ahead of us. You know, so that's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to, and I'm trying to not sound racist. I'm trying to just say that, you know, we are still behind on the buck and we just have to pick it up, basically.
Can I share something based on
Yes.
what you said?
Mhm.
I saw a little bit of the call last night, but you don't have to explain yourself. If someone's coming out and saying something like that, then they're not fully aware of how far some people as a people are behind in learning about finances and everything. So
Mhm.
they're just trying to distract you and trying to discourage you from what you're doing. Don't take it to heart, ignore them, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I agree. I didn't think you came off racist at all last night. I think what you were really trying to do was just close the coffin shut with the understanding that we are just behind as a community, and you're providing a way for us to close the gap.
Yes. Yes. And with that, congratulations, y'all. Renee just got her business credit, which she thought she was locked out, and she
Woo woo!
Good.
Congratulations.
Yay, Renee.
So the second part of that, when people try to attack me, was, you know, the next part became people asking me how to fund real estate deals because they do not have the money, or they, you know, they trying to figure out how to get started. If you've been with us for a while, you already know about velocity banking. You already know how to pay down your debts at an accelerated rate, and it boosts your credit score. You just need to learn how to leverage that newfound credit score and also get high limit lines of credit. But however, tonight I wanted to go over other different ways and methods to fund real estate deals if you do not know how or do not want to leverage your credit. Okay. So the first one that I pulled out is where's the money? So gotta give me a second here. So when it comes to investment properties and seller financing, one of the most common questions that you hear isn't about legal issues, servicing issues, or finding good deals, or even perhaps, you know, all the other stuff you hear. It's one of the simple questions: where do I find the monies for the deals, right? So investors can shoot for a conventional mortgage. I've started out with conventional mortgages, and I also, not saying I recommend conventional mortgage, especially if you start just starting out, right? You know, but if you have a great, you know, strong credit profiles, you know, my bank allows you to have 1 primary and 4 investment mortgages. Some banks allow you to have one primary and 2 investment mortgages, allow you up to 2 investment mortgages. Those are the best ways for me, I think, for people to start out, that give people the security, and, you know, people that's not comfortable leveraging, you know, untraditional ways of investing, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a really good way to start out with conventional mortgages as a primary. But again, I have other different ways that I've invested over the years. Some people that I've talked to that I've known to invest over the years, you know, You guys got to remember, I've been in this thing 20 something years. I've seen all types of ways of creative financing and closing on real estate deals. But the whole thing is, at the end of the day, is to start for you creating passive generation income, and all that again starts with the movement. You have to move. Okay. So I did not put in here hard money. I am not a fan of hard money. I know me and Renee spoke about several hard money deals. You know, a lot of times it comes with a high interest rate plus origination fees. I'm not sure if you guys ever known how, you know, if you did a real estate deal with a hard money lender before, but a lot of times they'll say it's 80% LTV. So the way you can calculate that 80% LTV is going to be the sales price minus the down payment that you're going to put down, right? So the sales price, say it's $100,000 and you're going to put $20,000 down. That means it's going to be $80,000. Then you divide that again by the sales price. That gives you 80% of the LTV. Plus they charge you points. The points are basically interest. So 2% of that 100,000 is what you're being charged up front. That is expensive money. That is very expensive money. So if you have, you know, so did other ways of, you know, funding your deals, I highly recommend it before you go to a hard money lender. Also, a lot of the hard money lenders, believe it or not, are actually pulling these monies from their line of credit and their credit cards to give you the funds. So believe it or not, I don't know if you ever watch videos about hard money lenders. That's one of the best ways for you to get in the game. If you just don't want to do real estate, you can actually be a hard money lender and leverage your credit cards, right? So so here's some options that I've used and you know, known people to use over the years about real estate investing. So the first one is, of course, y'all already know, is credit cards. I am a big fan of credit cards, especially leveraging credit cards to buy real estate and to purchase and fund my deals. Believe it or not, you can use credit cards to fund real estate deals. But again, it all comes back to the velocity banking and having a beautiful credit profile. That way you can get high lines of credit to buy a property. Another thing is that you all know that with the credit cards, I'm very big on the rewards points. So with the reward points is, if I buy a property, you got to remember, if I buy a $50,000 property and I get 5% back cash back on each property, that covers all of my expenses for most of my deals. Not only that, with credit cards, most of your contractors, you know, I have a Lowe's credit card that I use on a lot of my deals. I know pretty sure some of the people in my investment group, y'all use the credit card. We teach you to use your Lowe's credit card, Home Depot credit cards, and some of the co-branded credit cards, meaning co-branded would be like Lowe's / American Express, or Lowe's / I can't think of the name of it, a MasterCard, I'm sorry, Lowe's / MasterCard. Those are co-branded cards. So they give you higher rewards by using the Lowe's card, but it's co-branded, it's by American Express. They partner together. A lot of times, you know, those give you higher rewards back. Not only that, with the credit cards, most of your contractors, most of your services, like you need lights, electric, those type of things while you're rehabbing the property, they'll take that credit card. So while you still actually doing your rehabs or trying to get people in the property, you can still be making money back on the cash back reward points on those credit cards. You know, most of us, especially those that had come into the game learning that credit was bad and don't leverage credit and blah, 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 they're kind of scared of using credit cards. And I'm going to tell you, it's one of the most easiest and cheapest ways to fund your deals, right? Especially if you have the velocity banking mindset. You have cash flow and you know that properties are that property is or going to generate you additional cash flow. You can pay that thing back with the velocity banking method quickly. That way you're not paying interest and you already obtaining a property, blah, 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 on and on and on. You already know how we do this. So next one is going to be same thing, almost like credit cards. It's going to be Helocs. With the Heloc is basically the same thing. Heloc is going to be a line of credit. Just like a credit card, a HELOC is basically, HELOC is secured, however, with a real property, meaning that you took your property and took the equity out of your property and got a line of credit. So now that line of credit, it can have what is called as a draw. A draw allows you to borrow money off of that HELOC for a certain amount of time. Then after that draw date and 1 day after, now you have to pay back that loan. You're not allowed to draw again. So I'm explaining a little bit easier. If we get a HELOC for 30 years and it has a 20-year draw, I can withdraw money in and out of that HELOC for 20 years. And then after the 20-year and 1 day, I'm not allowed to draw no more. Whatever balance I have 10 years to pay it off. Now, the problem with the HELOC is, and I do encourage the HELOC method, but the HELOC method, you don't get cash back rewards like you would do with a credit card. But however, a benefit of a HELOC is it's like, for example, I bought my house for $585. Their houses in my neighborhood selling for 1.3 million. That's all equity. If I went to the bank and got a HELOC, I can get a HELOC probably close to what I owe on my property. I can get a HELOC by almost $400,000 because I have that much equity in my property, right? So one thing with a HELOC is that you have the benefit of whatever the equity is of taking majority out. There are some HELOCs that will give you up to 90 or 100% of your HELOC, but normally it caps out about 80% of the value of your property. But again, it's a good way to fund your deals and get that money out, right? Next one is going to be retirement accounts. Now, retirement accounts are going to be self-directed IRAs. I know most of you guys that come to me learn about mortgage notes. You've heard about people buying mortgage notes using their self-directed IRAs because it's a tax-free advantage. If you're doing, you can't not be a regular IRA. It has to be self-directed where you can actually use that to purchase real estate. You can actually take money out of your IRA and to purchase properties. But however, one of the things I always encourage people, especially those that are working a job and have been doing the 401k and have like a hefty saving, most of us, and again, and I'm not trying to sound racist, most of us as African Americans, we do 401ks on our job because that's the thing to do. However, we don't look at it as an investment tool. We look at it as a savings account. What happens is most people with 401ks and these IRAs from their job is that when they finally retire, the first thing they do is pay off their outstanding debts because they don't have a investor mindset. They might take a trip or a vacation and then they come back, they're broke, or they buy their favorite car or something like that. Whatever it is, they just using that money as a saving account until they get to the age of retirement, not to use that money to invest, right? So if you have a hefty savings account in your IRA, you can actually do a withdrawal or you can do a loan. And when you're doing a loan, you're actually loaning from yourself. As long as you continuously keep that job every pay period, you're going to be paying yourself back. So and plus the money that you continuously have in there is still going to be investing for you. However, and I want you to understand that right now, I don't know if any of you guys that have 401ks have looked at your 401k. Right now, 401ks and stock market is at their lowest ever. If I have a hefty amount sitting there and I can invest in real estate, like this one deal I have put on Facebook, 3 investors with $12,000 put in, that would be $36,000 on a property that you sell for $110 and then make $36,000, $37,000 almost back. That is 104% ROI where you have your money sitting currently in a 401k that is down 27%. Makes no sense. You know what I mean? So if you know how to borrow from your 401k to invest in a real estate deal, that is another very good option. Again, always, weigh the odds, but I'm telling you right now, you're not losing if you take that money out of a 401k to actually invest in the real estate deal. So the next one, of course, is friends and family. When I first started out with real estate, I had a lot of naysayers. Not that I had a lot. It's not like I had a lot of failures. It's just that I had a lot of businesses over the years, right? I've had barbershops. I've had ex-mortgage companies. I've worked for banks, private security. So they really didn't trust my not they didn't really trust me. They just felt like I was all over the place, right? And then when I started doing my real estate deals and they started seeing the success that we had with it, of course, the first thing they do, they come and say, "Oh wow, what are you doing?" Or they want to do what you're doing, right? So a lot of times with these deals, you can actually go to your friends and family and fund your real estate deals. They could be equity partners. You have the knowledge, right? So that's intellectual properties. You can actually you take their money, use your intellectual properties to fund these real estate deals, finish these deals out, or buy these mortgage notes, and then you're creating a partnership with family members. However, sometimes with family members it can be iffy. They'll take your money. I've had that too, where we're starting a real estate deal, and they're all over the place now, and then they want their money back. As you're finishing the transaction. Luckily, I've always had funds available when I get ready to do that. But that is a good way to actually start a family business. I know, Michelle and Telly. They originally with their kids, they were one of their kids. They were going to buy a multifamily and they would go in with them. That is a good option for everybody that looking to ways to fund their real estate deals. And the last one I think that is going to be is about, well, not last one. The next one is going to be about bringing in equity partners. So equity partners does not necessarily have to be family. That's why I'm trying to put them in order as I've used them over the past. But if you think about an equity partner, you can be somebody that have money sitting around like a 401k, or they can be a wealthy individual. You can actually bring those people in. Again, you have the intellectual properties to actually fund deals. You know how to do seller financing. You know what it takes. You find the property, especially people in our investment group. You find the property, you do the closing, you go to the current tenant or find somebody that's going to occupy that property, put them on a term, get them on that term. Once they get 3 months payments in, you can actually sell that seller finance note to another investor. And then you cash out, pay back your equity partner plus yourself, and that's a good deal. So a lot of times if you do not know how to do velocity banking, do not know how to leverage your credit, do not know how to do a HELOC, or none of the other steps, an equity partner will be very good. A half a loaf of bread basically is better than none. Plus, as an equity partner, I know we have people in our group with the equity partner, even with friends and family, because you're controlling the deal and you have the intellectual property, you can actually get a little bit more back in the negotiation. So instead of giving them 50-50, you may do 70-30, blah, 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 especially if you're doing all the legwork, going out, fixing all the properties up, and paying the contractors and doing the day-to-day activities. You want to get paid a little bit more. But again, they're just sitting there funding the deals. You're actually working the deals. Okay. I had, as I just said just now, Michelle and Telly, one of their children was going to go buy a multifamily. So the next one that I put down is house hacking, right? House hacking comes from basically buying a multifamily. You live in one, and then whoever live in the other units actually paying for the mortgage, and hopefully you're actually cash flowing at that time. I have a young man that buys a lot of properties. He puts them on mortgage notes. But what he does is that he keeps one property for himself as an Airbnb, and then normally multifamily, he keeps them as an Airbnb. The other 4 units, he's buying a quad. The other 4 units, what he do is seller finance those units out. So a lot of times they're like townhomes or row homes, depending on what state you live in, you want to call them. So he'll live in one, rent it out as an Airbnb because he's not there. That's just for monthly cash flow, and then the other ones that he seller finance. With the first unit, if it's not on Airbnb, he's doing what is called a corporate lease. He's trying to get corporate business and people, and even student, what do you call it? People, exchange students coming in. They pay a little bit higher, so it's always actually cash flow. So he's looking for corporate officers, exchange students, and Airbnb. And then the other 3 units that he's actually done seller financing on, they own the property. He's just the bank. You know what I mean? So that's a good way of house hacking if you want to think about funding your deals. Of course, the more properties you have in a multi-family allows you more cash flow that you can actually reinvest to your own other deals. Not only that, with the multi-family unit, you can actually, I want to say it's 6 months and 1 day. After 6 months and 1 day, you might between 6 months and 1 day and 1 year, I'm going to say, because you're going to have somebody come back and argue me down. 6 months and 1 day, you actually take that property and take the equity out of those multifamilies to actually reinvest. Or you can actually go back on that multifamily and do a HELOC. You are allowed to do HELOCs on investment properties. It's a little bit more strenuous, but however, you can actually get in HELOCs on investment properties. As long as you have one of those properties in your name, you're allowed to do an investment property, even on a multifamily. All right, so just in case somebody come back and try to argue me down about that. All right, so last one I want to put in is going to be borrowing against your life insurance policy. Now, one thing about borrowing against your life insurance policy, I know when I first started this program, there were several people that came back to me and they wanted me to start teaching the infinite banking solution. And that's basically another concept of being the bank. Unlike mortgage notes investing, being the bank was basically started from the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers basically took out a big life insurance policy. This life insurance policy, I think it was 10 million. So what they did was everybody in their family actually used that life insurance policy to borrow and pay out of. So one family member, when they go buy a car or a house, they would have to pay, they borrowed it out of that life insurance policy, and all their money had to go back into that life insurance policy. So this became a way of creating generational wealth by borrowing from your life insurance policy. One thing with but however, it has to be a whole life insurance policy for you to borrow. It cannot be term life insurance policy. You know, term is for a certain amount of time, 10, 20, 30 years. And a lot of times term is much cheaper than a whole life. And with a whole life, you have to pay down a certain premium in order for you to borrow off of it. However, once you get to a certain premium, you're allowed to borrow off of that. And that is a new, that's a way to fund your deals, basically. So, I am not a teacher of that. I'm not a big fan because, to me, I like to move fast. And the fastest way I know to move fast and fund my deals is actually by credit cards. You got to remember, with the whole life, you have to pay down a certain amount of premium in order for you to borrow off of. However, once you pay down that premium, it's a go time. But with credit cards, the way I leverage with HELOCs and things like that, all I have to do is look financially sexy. I don't pay down all my debts, and my utilization is 0, maybe 5% on the personal side. Again, I'm financially sexy, 100% payment history, 0 utilization, no collections, years of having an account, a little increase is go time for me. So and then I apply for high limit cards, and plus they see the cards that I already currently have. I just use those to fund my deals. But again, these are some of the ways that I found to be the easiest way to get your deals started. But again, as I said previously, I always recommend that you go, if you want to get started, to go the traditional way. Going the traditional way is basically going to be getting a pre-approval from your bank or credit union. Once you get that pre-approval, just like those that bought cars, your buying power. You will buy an investment property with a tenant in place. You will sell a finance this deal, and then now you have that people paying you cash flow every month. All you need is 3 months of payment. They call it seasoning. Those that not in our investment group, seasoning is just basically a term, how many months or year that those people are making payments on time is called seasoning, and what most of the note buyers are going to be looking for is going to be how much they put down. Putting down money on a property on a seller finance deal, you want at least 10%. And because what happens is when you put 10% down, you're telling the other investors that you have that person has emotional equity in that property, meaning that person is invested into that property. They're not going to put their money 10% down and walk away, or put that 10% down and not make any type of payments, right? So, that's big thing. Make sure that they put a large amount of money down, and then they're making their payments on time. Get that seasoning. You're able to, cash flow quickly. You're able to sell and finance those deals, rinse and repeat, walk in and out of those deals quickly. So I'm gonna be quiet with that. And if anybody have any questions or have any deals that they've looked at previously and they wanted to try to find out how to fund those deals, and while y'all doing that, if anybody have any questions, I'm gonna pull up this deal that me and Renee was looking at. Anybody have any questions about funding real estate deals or anything like that about for tonight? No, nobody. All right.
I have a question, Sabur.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
name's Taylor. Hi. So with with the velocity banking and building your business credit, about how long does it normally take to build it up where you can start investing in real estate? Because I know you have to kind of let it grow over time, right?
Well, it's not really how much time it really is, Taylor. What happens, what's going on is that it's about the type of cards you start applying for, right? You have to know the tiers of credit. Once you get to a certain tier, you have to make sure you start pushing yourself up to higher tiers. Sometimes when people go look for a credit card right now, they're going to go look for a no annual fee card, right? Those no annual fee cards are going to have a certain limit. But if I take an annual fee card that has a $695 annual fee, of course, it's going to come with more perks. And plus, they're going to be more willing to be more lenient to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm taking a risk on myself. They're going to take a risk on me too. But unfortunately, we've been taught that credit bad or whatever. And most time people look for credit cards that have a no annual fee. But when you start getting to the high annual fee cards, like, $1,600 and up, you're going to get higher limit cards, especially if they're business cards, you'll get higher limits.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
But it's really no time limit. I mean, sometimes having a business starting out, they're going to say that you need a little bit of age. But we have people on our call literally have LLCs that have been out there for a long time. They just never knew how to leverage their credit to buy that, to get higher limits.
Okay, gotcha.
Try to find this deal, y'all. Forgive me. I forgot the name of it. Oh, there you go, right here. One moment here.
What you need, Sabor? The name of the street?
No, the actual property. I'm trying to. Oh, yeah, I found it. So a lot of times, what I try to do. Oh shoot! Sorry, wrong screen, y'all. So I get a lot of people that still send me a lot of deals throughout the week. I can promise you I get 100 deals a week. But this is one of the deals that came up. It's a small deal, however, it's very beautiful if you look at it. The ARV, meaning the after repair value, if I had to put work in, it would be 60,000. Now the list price was only 40,000. This is one of the properties that Coach Renee bidded on. What's beautiful is that it's $40,000 and the tenant is paying $1,075. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Taxes is cheap, only $519 a year, plus insurance is estimated to be $800. And they give down here a suggested amount to offer to bid on that property, which is 37. I think Coach Renee, you came at 34. She came in at 34. I would have came in at 36. This is the property I said this would be excellent for 3 investment partners that know how to leverage their line of credit, took $12K off of their line of credit and went in the partnership, and they would actually they were actually, I'm trying to show you guys what we were looking at here. So the property, again, they're paying 1075, right? So right now, what you want to look at is what they're currently paying. So I will come to them and say, hey, with your current payment, I will sell finance this property to you with the current payment you're currently making, right? At a 10% at 110, we would have got them at 965, plus adding $100, $110, plus adding $110 for taxes and insurance. So you would have cash flow, the investors would have cash flow the 1075 for the next 3 months. However, if they kept this property for for 30 years as the investment group, they would have made $237,518 in interest payments. The total they receive off a $12,000 investment is split 3 ways would have been $347,518. Now, if they wanted to sell that mortgage note like we do in our program after the 3rd month of seasoning, they would have had sold that property here at 108,411. Right? A lot of times on the secondary market, when you're selling a mortgage note, there's going to be a discount, right? That discount is normally going to run, and I don't know why my calculator always pulls up back here. Give me 1 second here. Well, anybody got the calculator up? I'm trying to get this calculator up.
No, I'm trying to pull it up, but I can't.
Okay, I found it here. I'm trying to slide it over. I got too many screens here. And my wife actually found me another screen today. I said, do not bring me no more screens. All right, so can y'all still see my screen with the calculator?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying was if they sold that property after the 3rd month, the property would have been at 108,400. And I don't know why that zero is there, but it would have been 108,411. Most times on the secondary market, you have to sell a performing note close to between 85 and 95%. I'm going to go with the lower end and say 89% on a performing note. So multiply 89%. You would have made 900. You would have made $96,485.79. Again, I was going to say 96,486. So 96,486 divided by 3 is going to be 32. 162. And remember, you put in 12. So again, what I'm going to do now is my ROA. I want to see what my return on investment was going to be in 3 months. This is how I know this is a beautiful deal. So your initial investment is 12,000. You're going to make 32,162. Now let's say this is going to be July. 3 months from now is what in July? August, September, October. So October, I'm just going to say the same date as it is today. Your ROI right here would have been 168%. Nobody is seeing that, not even the stock market. That is the power of what we teach in this program. You have never seen those type of numbers on the ROI. That is a capital gains of $20,000, $162 off your initial investment of $12,000 as a partnership. Does that make sense to everybody? What I'm trying to teach people in this program? Can you see that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
Found it. Want it.
But yeah, Coach Renee was all on that one. You know what I mean? So I just want everybody to be aware, like, we're literally trying to make sure that you're growing and not just giving you, so there's some people that's out there that's giving information, but it's the information that's not practical. It's information they're not seeing growth. I know all the testimonies. I know personally that you all are growing, and we continuously grow as a community and a group. So, I basically saying thank you all for believing in us and everything like that. So with the new program and the new courses that I want to share, the course material is laid out so that you can actually have a reference and a source. What we did for the whole month that we were out, we literally went through and literally went through and took everything that I had in my mind and put it on paper so that somebody can have a step-by-step guide on how to actually do these deals, how to walk through these deals and things like that. Another thing that we did was my mindset and our goal was to stop people from having to make monthly payments, and they would also use that to have a resource. So that's why it looks like it's a lot, but it's actually a lump sum payment to stop you from having to make multi-payments. Once you start, I know we have some people that's in the group that's making monthly payments, but once you buy your course, you're actually going to not have monthly payments anymore. Again, I'm going to share my screen just to show you guys the course, a little bit of the course that we have. For the Be the Bank course, we're still adding videos, but we went through what is seller financing. There are currently 9 lessons on there. Velocity Bank is actually much longer on there. And plus the business is actually much longer. But in the course, we're teaching you, what is seller financing, where to start with seller financing, qualifying buyers, the documentations, and going through the title companies, the different type of contracts, deed. I spoke about deeds last night. What deeds do nothing. There's many types of deeds, quick claim deeds, warranty deeds. Trying to think, there's a million types of deeds, but only thing a deed does is just transfer title. You know what I mean? So we talked about that last night. We put in here about mortgage note investing, the terms that you need to know about mortgage note investing. And that's going to be like, what is amortization? What is, default? What is, qualify? There's different things that are different terms that we put in here that you must know about mortgage note investing. And lastly, in this course right now, currently, we put, mortgage note strategies. What is your appetite? There's different type of mortgage note that you can do. Of course, what we do, we sell a finance deal. But however, some of the people that's on this call have learned about mortgage note. You can actually buy performing and non-performing notes. Performing notes, you're going to, like I said, when we sell our notes, you're going to basically end up buying a mortgage note about 89% of the UPB or higher. With a non-performing note, that not performing and non-performing just mean paying and non-paying. With a non-performing note, you get a bigger discount. I bought non-performing notes literally and back in the days at 10% of the UPB. Again, UPB means unpaid balance. So I bought non-performing notes at 10% of the unpaid balance. And then basically that means if somebody had a non-performing note back in the days, they have 100,000, I can get that non-performing for 10,000. Right now, most non-performing notes are selling around 43 to 63% of the value. Again, if it's 100,000, I'm paying 43 to 63,000 for that non-performing note. But back in the days, they used to be way much cheaper than people would, because there used to be just so many mortgage notes flying around. And currently, right now, it's a little bit tighter, but back in the days, they didn't have mortgage notes flying around everywhere from hedge fund companies and banks. But again, those are some of the stuff that we're talking about in these programs. And again, we went through and laid out like our everything. We went through everything. And I mean, like we were literally going through, step by step, how to get started with velocity banking, how to build a personal credit, because we try to get away towards the end, we try to get away from actually helping people with the credit to actually doing the DIY, helping them, letting them do it on themselves so they can learn how to build their credit so they won't have to rely on credit companies in the future. And they will also have access to that. So we actually gave them our DIY credit building ebook that me and my wife had wrote years ago. I'm telling you guys, the program, the course is beautiful. Renee will attest to it. So I just want to let you know that I know the cost sounds a little high, but it's to stop you from making the monthly payment and to actually give you course material that you can reference to as you do your own deals in the future. But anyways, I'm stopping there. Anybody have any questions or anything that they want to ask about the course? about, anything, I'm here for you.
I always have to say something, a little
Go ahead,
something.
Mama, go ahead.
So, no, just to going back to, the course itself, people look at the price as is a little bit expensive, but you have to really think about it as an investment for your future and not really look at it as far as, the cost is concerned, because what you're going to get out of the course is going to be with you for the rest of your life. The knowledge that you get, the experience and training that you're going to get through the course, um, stuff that you're going to be able to retain and reuse over and over. And then you're going to have it all at the top of your hand because you get to keep the program. So it's, to me, it's worth it. So if you know anybody that might be interested or know people that would be that would definitely benefit from this, please refer them, talk to them, invite them to the cause so that they can see what you're doing, what you're learning, and so we can entice other people to want to change their lives as well.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is that with that, I'm piggyback on that. Remember when we started this program, and a lot of you guys started first joining the program, and I don't want people to get away from what we originally started. We wanted to teach, our community how to start creating passive and generational wealth. That is still our goal here, just to teach you how to create passive and generational wealth. Do not get caught up into the, what everybody else is talking about out there. We are still behind. We need to push the buck forward. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm just going to stop right there, but I love you guys. And I thank you all for always being supportive and being here on the weekends. I know it's your family time. So with that, I'm going to end and say thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here. You can
Have a good night.
have a good one. Saber, just stay on just like a couple of
Night,
minutes.
everyone.
Good
Good night,
night.
everybody. Thank you all for being here.
Good night.
Good night.